teleportation and the hidden strength within. Alright, let's just understand this monitor, this computer screen we're looking at right now. So in the bottom left hand corner, we have a system and a test. The test logo is literally like a bitmap thing of a zombie. So literally that is I think they're called bitmaps, where they're basically stretched out pictures for skins to wrap around.
Yeah, I don't remember the official term, but yeah, they're texture maps.
But that is a texture thing for a zombie's head. I didn't even bother to put a zombie's thing. They just went, fuck, what do we need here? Not to mention the big fucking thing right beside it to the right is like an Umbrella Lab. So no one could be like, what's this? No, the person working in this lobby has something to answer. They answer for something.
Exactly what's going on.
They are on Chief Iron's payroll.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to do when we get here is get rid of this fucking knife. This knife, I think, is probably the most useless in Resident Evil history. Not too sure. At least with the zombies in the first Resident Evil, there's some sort of use to it. Even though it's quite small, it's definitely not as useless as the Resident Evil 2 knife. And this is pretty much like the same system throughout all the Resident Evil games, but Resident Evil Code Veronica, where a knife is actually quite useful in Code Veronica. So here we have an introduction to the Lickers. That's right. A name given to because of their long-ass tongue.
Not to be confused with their closely related cousins, the Suckers.
The Suckers. Oh, we fucking taking a swipe. How about no? Yeah, it's like, man, those things have some tongues on them. I'ma call them Lickers. And that's just what they've been always known as.
I can
Turns out they are
there's some porn of those things. Sorry, continue.
Shit, yeah. There's even because... What am I doing this for? In Resident Evil lore, the remake introduced a new enemies called Crimson Heads. So how they explain the Crimson Heads is, when a zombie has taken a sufficient amount of damage, they will basically die, keeled over. But if they're not killed or burnt, they will come back. The T-virus cells would heal most of the damage that has basically affected them, and mutate the body a little further to basically where the skin's completely red, thus the Crimson Head name. They have fangs for teeth and have long claws, but they're still in a humanoid shape. So these are called Crimson Heads. They're faster, harder to destroy, and they are fucking scary. Now the Licker is the evolved form of a Crimson Head. So that thing we just saw used to be a human. Used to be a zombie.
Well, it had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, but the thing that, like, that wasn't, like, introduced into Resident Evil till, like, years after. Everyone's like, oh, fucking Lickers are just, you know, an Umbrella experiment. Into which I think the movie, I was convinced that Lickers were, like, how the Resident Evil movie had described it as, oh, we just directly injected the T-virus into a bunny, and now look, it's fucked up. But it turns out, no. Like, I mean, don't get me started on the movies. Those movies are fucking atrocious. They made money, but they are fucking atrocious.
Well, if you accept it as its own, you know, it's a movie adaptation, and you accept it as its own standalone lore.
Yes, then it's a terrible movie.
No, the first one was alright, wasn't it? If you looked at it as its own lore and standalone.
So the
problem was, after that, they completely disregarded everything that's set up before then.
Yes, so the problem... so that's Chris's diary. Chris is basically like, I'm not in town. Tell Claire that I'm not in town. Claire obviously didn't get the fucking memo. But yeah, so I don't mind what the first Resident Evil movie did. It made up some rules in which I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's fine. You can do that. You be you. It's basically a document basically saying the FBI or someone's been investigating Chief Irons, the guy who runs the RPD, and yes, he's been taking bribes. But yeah, the movie's like, alright, this is how things are. We're setting up our own rules. I'm like, fine, that's cool. And then they don't even follow these rules. These rules just fucking go out the window straight after the second film.
They got to about
like
rule 35,
immediately
like,
after this film is made, after the Resident Evil film, like first film, they describe, oh, lickers will, once they consume human DNA, they will mutate. I realized I've done something. They will mutate. And like, okay, that's cool. They can mutate, and if they eat human DNA, fine, I'll buy that. In fact, when I was young, when I first saw it, I thought that's actually how shit went. Because I'm pretty sure the Resident Evil movie predates the Resident Evil remake game. I'm just giving these boys. Are you dead? Cool. I'm pretty sure the Resident Evil movie predates Resident Evil remake, because in the remake they explain that Crimson Heads are a thing and they are the next step in the zombie transformation. But then they don't even stick to these rules. So straight after Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2 happened. Fair enough. In Resident Evil 2, the first thing you see is a licker immediately kill a scientist. So that's oh, by the way, here's Claire's costume time.
Hey.
I'll use a special key. We get Claire's special costume and a special gun.
Yeah,
Which is the biker jacket, right?
It's kind of like, I don't even know what to explain it.
It's double denim.
The denim jacket.
Denim.
Is it a denim? Yeah, what is that? It's kind of like a bikie outfit. Yeah, I would say it's like a bikie. It's more. What are they?
It's like a biker cowboy.
Yeah, look at those boots. The fucking knee-high boots.
And double
No
denim.
wonder why she thought she could take on the Paris facility umbrella. She survives fucking Raccoon City with knee-high boots.
Knee-high boots, a fucking tank top, and a leather jacket.
Aha, now that I've stopped handicapping myself, you don't stand a chance.
Yeah, so the first Resident Evil movie goes, hey, lickers are... If they eat someone, they evolve to big hunters. Cool. Second Resident Evil movie. First thing that happens once they close the hive, don't get me started on that, because the fact, or after they open the hive. So the main thing about the first Resident Evil movie is, oh, we need to escape within this certain amount of time, otherwise we're locked in here forever. First thing they do in the second Resident Evil movie, let's fucking open it. Like it was that difficult. Oh, I missed. Come on. There we go. Not fucking that one again. Yeah, first thing that happens in the second Resident Evil film, they open the hive up again. What? Okay, if you could just do that, why was there a fucking time limit in the first place? So, once they open the hive, a licker comes out, kills the scientist. And then, the next scene you see with lickers, none of them, not one of them have evolved into a hunter. Now, you could say, that hunter, the licker that killed the scientist, just isn't one of those lickers. Cool. But then you see the lickers actively kill and eat people in the church that they're seeing, and still don't mutate. And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Like, what? Shouldn't they be mutate? Like, at least stick to your own rules, you fucking hack of a director. Oh.
Is it the same director that's now directing the Monster Hunter World movie?
Yes.
Paul He's turning
W.
it into
S.
a
Anderson.
fucking isekai.
Is he?
Well, it wasn't that the thing that the Monster Hunter World is it's like a different
Yeah, it was
world?
like.
It is. Oh no, shit! It is.
I thought it was more that they called it Monster Hunter, but realistically, it was an adaptation of Gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking the Monster Hunter movie is an isekai.
Because I only just realized you're right. You're fucking right. It is an isekai because the main plot around Monster Hunter is, oh, this guy's working a fucking average 9 to 5 job. Man, he's so bored of life. And then, oh my god, my heritage is full of monster hunters, great master monster hunters. Now I need to become a monster hunter to save both our worlds. It is 100% isekai, and I only just realized this.
It's gonna be fucking terrible, and I want to see it so bad. Which is kind of why I guess a lot of the Resident Evil movies made their money, is because people are like, we know it's gonna be fucking atrocious.
No,
we have to watch it.
Resident Evil movies, like, they were there for the everyday person, which fine.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I barely remember watching them, like any of it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised
because it was a while back, and I only think I watched one of them, maybe two.
Oh man, so like,
but I did think it was a pretty decent. Knowing nothing of the series coming in, it was an enjoyable zombie action flick to watch.
The first one was fine, and then the second one, like when I was young and dumb, I loved the second one. The second one was my favorite. But then when I grew up and like I could tell the difference between a reasonable movie and a pile of shit, I just went, why did I like this film? There was so much wrong with this film that I cannot fathom to watch it again. Even that's the right term. I don't even think fathom to watch it again. I cannot bear to watch it again. It's like seeing your baby get raped. Oh.
Spoiler alert.
That much of a fucking comparison.
But it's like because Resident Evil is my favorite franchise, #1 favorite franchise. Oh, by the way, Leon's here again, and he's looking upset. Resident Evil is my favorite franchise. So when I see something actively take a shit on the source material, I get annoyed. Because we like it because of the source material. And when someone adapts it to the big screen, and it's a pile of shit, and they're like, why are so many people pissed off? Why do people hate? It's made for everyone to come here and go, haha, yay, the zombies did the zombie thing and I clapped. It just infuriates me watching the series again.
What would make a good zombie movie though? Like,
there are some good zombie movies out. Like when I was younger and I was like even more sicker, I basically just watched a whole bunch of random movies that existed.
Back in the good old staying home from school during the day.
And like, because I'm a big horror movie buff, so I watch a lot of horror movies, and there are some decent zombie films. But it also comes down to the definition of zombie, because there's zombies, like, if you're talking about like mindless fucking things eating flesh, then yeah, there's some of that, and then there's other zombies that basically just want to spread an infection. Like there's I want to say Italian or Spanish. It's a foreign film called Rec, short for record. And it's based around this TV crew making like almost like a documentary on a group of firefighters. Basically saying, oh, these people, they risk their lives every day, etc., etc. And so this TV crew follows these firefighters around. And then, okay, these firefighters get called to an emergency. And it turns out that emergency is just fucked. Like 100% fucked. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's gotta suck. And then they made a sequel to this movie. So the first movie was fantastic, I loved it. And then they made a sequel, and it did what a sequel does, and ruin it. It's like, because they thought the infection was, like, basically... Oh, no! Ah! Get off me, Bubba. Because they thought the infection was spread by rabies. It's like a form of rabies that has changed over to humans. Oh my god, oh, that's so down. And so the movie is like, fuck off. You guy. Right. Cool. You're not dead? I don't have ammo. Fuck you then. You just stole all my bullets. But yeah, so they said it was rabies, and in the second film, nah, it's the devil. I'm not even kidding. It's the devil.
Alright, fuck
these people are not infected with a human form of rabies. They are just possessed by the devil. And I almost flipped my shit.
El Diablo.
Like, I am not kidding. I'm just like, what the fuck? You had a good thing going, and then you fucked it.
Well, they were trying to,
and then the Americans,
get that fucking M. Night Shyamalan twist on it. You know, fucking pull the rug out from under everyone. Unfortunately, when they did pull the rug out from under everyone, everyone fell in shit.
From start to beginning, it maintained this is what it is. It is an infection, like a mutated version of rabies, and that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. Go your hardest. But then at the start of the second film, they're like, oh, it's the devil. And then all these infected victims are, responding to a priest and stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck? No, way to ruin it. Then Americans try to ruin it even further.
Oh, brilliant.
By, making their own adaptation of it. In which the first movie, I don't even understand this. Oh no. The first movie is, pretty much scene for scene copied the Wreck movie. So they called it Quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
And Quarantine is almost shot for shot exactly like Wreck. Except worse.
I think I remember seeing advertisements for Quarantine.
So the first Quarantine film, I was like, okay, this seems fine. And then I heard about how it was an adaptation. I'm like, alright, I'll give the adaptation a quick look. Or I'll give the source material a quick look. And this is fucking good. Then I watched the Quarantine again and went, oh, so these things that were good in the source material are done quite poorly here. See that? I'm a fucking track and field runner. Claire Redfield, track and field. I don't call her Redfield for nothing. That just sounds terrible.
Yep.
Shit.